It's only a matter of time before we get nuked. Before this channel is gone, this channel is deranked.
Jeez, I thought you meant a real nuke. That was terrifying.
I was about to bring up the aliens.
It's only a matter of time before we're suspended because, I mean, think about the things we're talking about right now.
This is good stuff.
These are dangerous conversations the establishment does not want people to know about.
Yeah, but Google's not the establishment. That's what's cool.
It's the most powerful corporation on the planet.
But the establishment is competing with them.
Bro, did you see the video of the Google employees crying when they announced Trump won, and the CEO and the president, all the people being like, we know, we're going to resist and make sure it doesn't happen again? Mm-hmm. They're the establishment. They call me and they tell me I can't talk about certain things. They tell me this, like, we're letting you know because we like you and we want you to play ball. And I have my limits because I think getting the message out to the best of my abilities is better than just giving up. But there's a line, and we're getting dangerously close to it,
dude.
We got big news right here that we got to talk about.
Okay.
From Fox News, Twitter to expand COVID-19 vaccines policy to combat harmful, misleading tweets. Twitter will begin enforcing their updated policy on misleading tweets surrounding COVID-19 vaccines on December 21st. So now, as we're getting stories about, say, anaphylaxis out of Alaska. And I've got Democrats accusing me of being an anti-vaxxer for pointing out a health warning issued by the government. So even talking about what's true is considered a threat to these tribalists. We know that Twitter is basically ideologically tribalist left as well. So how long until I see a story that says Bell's palsy, people got Bell's palsy after getting the vaccine. They don't think it's significant because the same amount of people who get it normally or whatever. And whatever the point is, what happens if I'm like, wow, this is something people should know? And then someone at Twitter says, that's anti-vax. Delete.
We will use the fervor to start a new network.
Well, we have to understand, if they really were to enforce this rule, they would have to take down the British government's ability to publish information. They would have to
be real.
I know. They
won't. They'll allow the British.
Of course they won't.
They'll ban you when you bring it up.
I'm saying on the merits of what actually should happen. There's a big difference between what actually does happen, because again, we have to understand with the bigger point that I'm trying to make here, that this is a bigger disguise in order to limit more speech, in order to control people, in order to have just an excuse to destroy the competition of the mainstream media and to destroy the voice of anyone questioning the establishment narrative, which they are desperately trying to hold on to, because the only thing these people have is their propaganda, and it only works if it goes unchallenged. And challenging it, questioning it, is becoming more and more outlawed, more and more dangerous to even speak about. And that's why earlier you saw the way I started the show. There's a reason
baby hands.
There's a reason I gave you a hand.
I'm gonna let y'all on an open secret. Yeah. The only reason this show exists is because YouTube allows it to.
Yeah.
It's not
because
just about
you do it.
It's not just about us getting banned. It's about the fact that 80% of views for all of my channels come from YouTube's recommendations. That's it. My views would probably be in the tens of thousands based off of people who actually want to seek out and watch my content. But most people, it's between 60 and 80, depending on what the content is, are not subscribed. And when they see it, they'll go to youtube.com and YouTube will say, watch this video. If YouTube at any point decided this conversation is over, it is. Because regular people are only getting it because they're seeing it in their recommendations.
Yeah. And this is absolutely wild, because if you look at our conversations, we are trying to be careful. We're trying to tell you both sides of the story. We're trying to be as fair and as honest as we can. And I think, I don't want to, I don't think we could even compare ourselves to the mainstream media, which is bloodthirsty for power.
Yeah.
This is mainstream now.
Well,
dude, this channel gets like 20 million views per month, and CNN gets 210 million.
They're both mainstream.
A lot of those are airport views, though.
No, CNN's
but
YouTube
this is like a
views.
6-man operation. This is insane. It's awesome.
But also, we have to understand the tables are tilted towards YouTube's playing favoritism towards YouTube, because everything you search always comes up.
So let me just
Fox
say,
News.
everybody listening right now, if you really do think we're doing a good job and what we talk about is important, please consider sharing the link whenever you can. Because, I bring up the recommendation thing, and I see it. There have been periods where YouTube had these glitches, I'll do air quotes, where people were like, Tim, your video isn't appearing on your channel. People just couldn't watch it at all.
Yep.
So and it happens, and it was funny because I can't remember what the video was, but it was very much like, I think it had to do with the CIA and Trump or something, and it just didn't appear. Just how strange was that? And I had no idea why.
Yep.
And so I had to I deleted it and re-uploaded it, and then it was there an hour later. Very, very strange.
Could be a
Wasn't on my
bug,
channel.
but
There's a lot of strange
could be a
things
bug,
going on.
You know, could be a bug. But I think it's like, listen, if I put up content and randomly one day something weird happens, you know, maybe it's a bug. When it's the one video talking about some serious political
Still
CIA,
might be a bug. I know from personal.
Yeah, it still might be a bug.
Yeah.
But it's a question of, you know, not to be too conspiratorial. We know for a fact YouTube throttles. They tell us they do. They have deranking mechanisms. It was Nerd City, I believe. He's a YouTuber. You guys check him out. He's really great. He found, I guess, these codes embedded in YouTube's. If you search the source, the inspect source on the page, you would find these codes that would pop up, and they were able to find out that they were like derank mechanisms. Oh. So we know it exists. We do. If YouTube wants, they can make it so that people don't get notifications, and oftentimes they don't. Mm-hmm. And then when people don't get notifications, they eventually start to forget. They stop watching the content.
When we start doing our own network that's like shortwave radio / mesh network, bypassing, it's going to be so awesome.
We've got the proprietary website coming soon, very, very soon. It's being built right now. And that's going to be where we do our best to make sure, like, if you really are a big fan of the show, you come in and you can watch there and you can get stuff there. And even if we get nuked, we'll still exist. But I'll tell you this, man. YouTube is the town hall, the city square, all that stuff. And people are going to youtube.com. They're walking in and looking at this field. And what's happening is there's people everywhere yelling and talking about a bunch of stuff. And YouTube is going, check out these ones. These are big. These are cool. And that helps us. That helps this show. But at any point, they could be like, you guys, get out.
Dude,
yeah. And then,
But then we're relegated to, you know, our little wacky shack a couple miles away, and we're holding up a sign saying, guys, we're still over here. Viewership will be dramatically decreased.
Band.video.
Revenue will be, I mean, look what, you know. But Jones gets a ton of views on Band.video. He gets
He's
a lot.
one of the few exceptions, but I've been telling my audience, you know, I love you guys. Thank you so much for sharing my videos, because if you didn't, no one else would be watching them, and we would be foolish to think that the algorithm isn't used in a way that benefits a lot of the special interests.
YouTube's got us in a trap. It's a trick. Let me tell you the trick. When I look at some of these podcasts, let me tell you, we are ranked on iTunes on this show. Timcast IRL is ranked, I think, like right now, I think it's like 1 or like 211 or maybe 176. It changes every single day. And then my main podcast is ranked 34 top iTunes charts at one point. Now it's down to like 130 something. Based on the amount of traffic we're getting to these shows, we should be some of the wealthiest podcasters, but we're not doing what all of these other podcasts are doing. What's really interesting is that there are podcasts that have 1/10 of the viewership, but everybody pays $5 a month. So you get somebody on Twitch, one of these high-profile lefties, and they have 100,000 followers, but half of them are giving $5 a month. These people are millionaires.
That's pretty badass, because that's like 10 cents per show or 15 cents per show.
That's when I was thinking, like, YouTube's got us in this trick where they're like, stay on this platform, we do the YouTube rev for you, but don't you say the wrong thing. And I'm like, okay, we need both. We need a proprietary platform. That's what we're going to build. That way people can support directly, and then we can start to rival some of these bigger networks and do better productions and get bigger. And then we can't, we can avoid the bans and stuff like that.
Well, I think right now that's why YouTube just instituted a new policy. Even if you're not in the partner program or have been kicked out of the partner program, they could still run ads on your channel without sharing any other revenue. And I mean, my channel's fully out of the program, fully demonetized. They were supposed to review me in a month. It's been, I think, over 8 months now. Of course, it's making me scramble and think of other ways to make ends meet. But, that's why, did t-shirts and did other things. But essentially down the line, we have to understand that this is something that's affecting everyone, because they enticed everyone with this amazing utility, this amazing tool. They were like, very smart drug dealers that give you just a sample of that crack for free when you're down and out. And then the crackhead takes a little bit of crack, and then essentially they become a full-blown crackhead.
Partner program.
And they become addicted to it, and then they have no other way, no other avenue to express themselves or do anything without that constant hint of validation that YouTube provides.
I've got a very, very important super chat as we now go to super chats that just came in, and it's very, very important and convenient. And this is from 8 o'clock. This is from an hour and a half ago. Morgan H. said, I think Tim is being shadow banned. I normally get a notice as soon as the event is announced, but tonight I had to come look for it. That's what I'm saying. So there's a lot of people who watch simply because they got recommended this, and they're like, oh, what's this? And I'll come and click it. And there's a lot of people who are like, I like to watch this show every night. But if YouTube decides it, we just don't exist on the platform anymore. Viewership is gone. And I'll tell you this, we're in a position right now, it's rather dangerous, that without that recommendation, the show doesn't generate enough revenue to actually exist. That's why we got to do this proprietary website where you know, there are some podcasts that are like ranked 7,000 in the world or 10,000 in the world. And I'll let you in on the secret. These are podcasts that get like 10,000 downloads per episode. That sounds like very, very little to a lot of people, especially people who watch YouTube videos. My YouTube videos get 500,000. So to look at a podcast on iTunes getting 10,000, these people are millionaires. No joke. They're millionaires. So I tell you, like the YouTube is a trick. You know, the real key is to make sure you're actually running a business.
Totally.
And getting customers and fans and working with them and producing content for them.
And you
directly.
could pay like extra to get the behind this, or like we're gonna set up GoPros in the skate shop.
We're building a skate shop.
So cool.
We're building a skate shop.
Fun. We got so many rooms to put
bar.
GoPros in.
We're gonna have events, and we're gonna do one of the things we're gonna do is we're gonna have bonus member segments for the website. So that way, you know, like everything we do now, we do super chats, but we've got a couple more stories we never get into, right? We got some creepy ones we mentioned early on we might not get to. And that's something we'll be like, okay, if we didn't get to it, then we're going to put it on the site for, you know, the people who want to be members, and we'll have merchandise and discounts and all that stuff. Because that's the way we got to do it if we want to make this a big network and survive beyond what YouTube is. But more importantly, once we get this site up, here's the best part. We're going to have segments for members only where we get spicy. Where we can say the things YouTube will not let us say. Yeah. Where Luke can go off the rails and scream about the aliens and the Nordics.
All
and
the false
Greys.
I like getting spice. I like spice. I have a lot to say. I've been stopping myself from expressing it.
I'll be swearing.
But there's names
just
we
for no
can't
reason.
say.
Just as much as I can.
Yeah.
But think about this
all
too.
of it.
The risk we were put under for simply wanting to have Alex Jones on the show.
Yeah.
They
took his show. That was so sad.
And that was like 2 million
Go to
views.
BitChute and find it, you guys, because that show was epic.
Millions. It was crazy.
And we can re-upload it on our new platform.
Once we get,
We can probably put all the episodes onto the new platform, have everything there.
But we're going to start doing
and put clips on YouTube.
The ultimate spicy segments, you know, and the silly segments too. And really just say whatever you want and laugh and it's crazy because you can't even make jokes on YouTube.
Dude, I'm like straining my mind as we sit here.
Yep. So this is what YouTube wants. And I told them this. I was like, you guys are forcing us, all the creators, to make something of our own. Now, I know a lot of people point out other platforms are like, why don't you go on Patreon? Why don't you go on Locals?
Why don't you go on Minds?
Locals is a million times better than Patreon, no doubt. But you still don't want to be under someone else's control.
And the ISP is a bit concerning, but they're not as hardcore. You really got to go and do crazy stuff to get the ISPs involved.
But we're heading in that direction.
Maybe. That's why mesh networking.
We need something like the Fediverse. We need decentralized social media. That's what we really need. And people have tried to do it for a long time, but
we need a free and open internet like the original internet before it was squeegee clean by the corporatist globalist.
The original internet was Wild West, man.
I loved it.
People were doing crazy nonsense. Yep. You know, somewhere on the dark web, the deep web, there's an animation of, you know, Macho Man Randy Savage doing the banana dance for peanut butter jelly time on a GeoCities somewhere.
The dark web is something crazy. I've never gone to the dark web, and I don't. Maybe I would.
The dark
but
web.
Apparently, it's in another internet. That's underneath the internet.
Yeah, but that just means non-indexed
illegal
websites.
Stuff there.
No. It just means non-indexed websites.
Wait, not the darknet. I'm thinking of the darknet. Yeah,
the darknet and the deep web are the same thing.
Okay,
and it's a reference to non-indexed.
That's
websites.
where like the Silk Road was.
That was the Onion Network.
Yeah, Tor.
Yeah.
Right, that's different.
The Onion router.
Right. So those were that was a different.
Tor's a browser that you use to access that stuff without being found out.
Yep. Well, maybe Trump will pardon Ross Ulbricht.
I hope so.
I hope
so. Well, there was a Daily Beast article, according to two of their sources, allegedly anonymous sources, but they say that they're inside of the White House, that Trump is considering pardoning Ross Ulbricht and is favorable to that idea. And if that's true, I mean, that would be huge. Yep. I know Ross's mother gave me me the first interview ever publicly speaking about what actually happened to Ross, and her story is absolutely incredible. Her name's
the
Lynn
gist of it?
Albrecht. The way that everything the government said was happening with Ross turned out to be absolutely not true. The amount of lying, the amount of disinformation surrounding this case will make your head spin.
Wow.
And check out Lynn Albrecht, and maybe if you put in We Are Change, you'll be able to see our interview. I interview her at least once a year. She gives us updates about this case, but she's been trying to get Ross's name out there to the general public for a while, because if you essentially look at that case, the main legal argument against him is that he ran a website that other people did something bad on, which if that's the case, then Mark Zuckerberg should definitely be in jail too.
Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. We do the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., so come back to check us out when we go live. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification bell, and we are also available on all podcast platforms for free if you want to listen to us there. Thanks for hanging out, and we will see you all next time.